Hey y'all, Chris Parry from EQUITY.GURU again with today's 3-minute hit. Today's 3-minuter is about Canopy Growth Corp. Yes, I know, the evil weed, being their ticker symbol, WEED. Listen, I haven't talked about these guys forever because, how do you say it in English? They suck. This is a company that in the early part of the cannabis boom was taking money from everybody and buying everything at an inflated price. Buy something that's worth 20 million for 40 million, and the retail investors will give you $80 million in market cap markup. That was the scam for a long time, and every other company was chasing their tail doing the same thing. So basically, Canopy led the way in setting up the cannabis industry for failure. Then they got into bed with Constellation Brands, and everyone gave them more money because Constellation Brands is a massive alcohol outfit. Tie the alcohol in with the weed, oh my god, it's going to be fantastic. It wasn't, because you can't tie alcohol in with weed. It's against the rules in Canada. Okay, so what else can Canopy do? Well, let's go through the list. They bought a chocolate factory to grow weed in. That didn't work out so well, because what else likes chocolate? Rats. They bought a bunch of small grows across the world. Doja in Kelowna, and they bought Tokyo Smoke retail outlet before retail outlets were allowed. I guess they wanted to sell a bunch of t-shirts for a few years. These guys made every knuckleheaded mistake there has been, including completely butchering having the abundance of market share in the business, being the biggest company out there with the most SKUs, having bought up brand after brand after brand after brand because, you know, share price accumulation. These guys had the #1 spot, but you know what they also had? The world's worst weed. Honest to God, if you wanted to grow weed in cough syrup and dishwashing detergent, you couldn't do a worse job than Tweed did out the gate. They completely screwed it up. They went out and got consultants, they got growers, they got other growers, they got other consultants. They bought quality, and quality then destroyed itself. Excuse me. This company has been dog shit from the outset. Its only thing that it's been good at has been accumulating wealth and then burning through that wealth. My God, if I gave a kid matches and old dollar bills, this was the Canopy Growth Corp business model. So anyway, Constellation Brands came in, gave them a bunch of money for a bunch of their stock, and then realized, I guess, after due diligence, had said that that would be a good buy. Somehow afterwards, that only came to them that this was actually a bleeding fistula of a company. So they came in, spent a bunch of money, kicked out all the management, came in and said, well, we're going to cut some prices, and within 5 years we'll be profitable. The market heard those words, within 5 years we'll be profitable. That means in 5 years, right? No one says if they think they're going to be profitable next year, we'll be profitable within 5 years. If they say within 5 years we'll be profitable, they mean in 5 years we'll be profitable, we hope. Anyway, so since those words were spoken, it's been 4 years, and they ain't nowhere near profitable. And what's Canopy done this month with new laws coming? Maybe the Canadian government finally looking at the cannabis industry and saying maybe it's not as functional as it could be. Canopy precedes that by, it appears, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but from what I'm reading on the news, it appears they're giving away Tokyo Smoke. That's right, they're giving the Tokyo Smoke dispensaries away. They're so bleeding money that they are selling Tokyo Smoke and the Tweed stores to other companies. But there's no indication that there's been any money given for these stores. There wouldn't have been. You know why? Because they lose money. They've laid them off onto other people, and those other people will hope to turn them around. Man, can you imagine? You go out there and you pay top dollar for a weed dispensary chain that doesn't sell weed yet when they made the deal. And then when you finally get permission to sell the weed, you're so bad at it that eventually you just give those stores away. We're talking about 20 plus stores that they're just sending away to the cornfield, right? These guys cannot make money doing anything. And so now they're giving away assets that were once prized, once the reason to be buying Canopy stock. They're now sending them away, getting rid. And here's the thing that really gets me, is the first paragraph of the news release announcing this. I'll read it for you. Canopy Growth Corp has entered into agreements to divest its retail business across Canada. Divest, not sell, not profit from, divest. Which includes the stores operating under the Tweed and Tokyo Smoke retail banners. The announcement reinforces the company's focus on advancing its path to profitability. This is what gets me. As a premium brand focused cannabis and consumer packaged goods company. Premium. That word's doing a lot of heavy lifting right here. Premium Canopy, you think. Your premium brand is so great that you're literally the name of the company that you started with, Tweed, you've given it to somebody else in terms of dispensaries. Like, your premium products are so premium that you are no longer the number one most purchased brand out there in Canada. Your premium products are so premium that they are a running joke in cannabis circles. Tweed is almost like a brand name for substandard weed. And you occasionally get people that do reviews of this stuff, and they go out and they say, well, so I tried this Tweed product and it wasn't terrible. That's as good as it gets. Usually it's just some level of terrible all the way down, and it's been that way for 5 years. There's nothing premium about Tweed as a brand, or Canopy as a brand, or any of the brands that it sells. None of it at all. It's terrible stuff. And so the idea that they're going to focus on their premium cannabis offerings, ooh, baby. Look, I've been saying since, God, what has it been? Like 2019, 2018, maybe 2017 even. I've been saying that Canopy, aka Tweed, is just bad. Like, it's just not a good investment. Now look, in early 2021, it went through a bit of a run, right? It went from like $12 up to $72. And at that point, I was yelling from the rooftops, please, everybody, sell. Like, this is not staying up here. This is a company that every quarter writes down $1 billion plus. And you really think it's going to stay up here? Sell, sell, sell. And sure enough, within the rest of the year, went from $72 down back to $12 again. It is now under $4. Under $4. So this is a company that was $76 in 2019, $76 in 2021, is now $4 a share. Like, I can't even help you guys. If you're still thinking, oh, I'm going to hold on to it because it's going to come back. Listen, it's gone down, what are you looking at, about 95% in the last year and a half. In order for it to get back to where it went and where it was, it's got to go up around 1,000% from here. So, I don't know what you'd be holding on to. Maybe you can get it from like $4 to $5. Maybe it won't drop to $3. Look, man, I get that if you really like weed, you're invested in weed. I get that you want to back your hobby, your interest with your hard-earned money, that you want to will it forward, right? I got in here at $17. It went to 70. Now it's at 4. Hey, I may as well stay in there, keep swinging, because what's the point of selling it now? Here's the point of selling it now. Opportunity, right? There are other things out there in the market that are going to have a lot less harder time turning their ship around than Canopy. And they might not be cannabis companies. They might be psychedelics. They might be tech companies. They might be biotech. They might be uranium explorers, right? There are plenty of opportunities out there to take whatever money you have left and put it into something else that is going to accumulate. It ain't going to take you to $70 necessarily. But you know what else ain't going to take you to $70? Canopy. It is divesting itself of a major business component that was, for a long time, the main reason to buy it. Man, like, I know I've gone over 3 minutes here. I always do on these 3-minute hits. It's I get ranting and I can't help myself. But listen, stop buying shitty weed companies. I beg of you. I've been saying this since 2021. I've been saying it since 2019. I've been saying it since 2017. The very peak, the peaky peak of the cannabis market was in late 2019. And early 2019. In early 2019, I stood up on a stage at Cambridge House and said, please, for the love of God, if you have cannabis stocks, sell them immediately. You will never get a better return than right now. Now, cannabis was my business back then. My entire company was built around helping people become aware of what cannabis stocks were out there. It was a great business, but it was also a terrible business because that sector was doomed to failure and was dying. And I could not, for the life of me, stand in front of people and say, well, it's high risk, high reward. No, I knew that the highest risk was here and that the reward was next to nothing. So I told people to get out, and I will to my grave wear that victory, being able to call the top for 5 years to within 3 days. Within 3 days of the very top, I called it. I got out of that business and started talking about other sectors. And I'm here to tell you today that Canopy Growth Corp is in the toilet that I always said it was going to be. It was never in doubt. Yeah, there was a big old spike up there in early 2021 when everyone was still looking around at COVID. But man, talk about a pump and dump. That thing flew up and flew down, and it has not stopped. If you think Constellation Brands is going to come in here and invest a couple of $1 billion to turn the ship around, forget it. If you think the US cannabis market is going to suddenly open up and these guys are going to go in there as a Canadian company and dominate, forget it. It ain't going to happen. This is a dead company. I've been telling you for years, it is a dead company. It isn't going back to where it was. If you have Canopy stock, what you really have is non-voting Constellation Brands stock. And they ain't going to do you any favors. They are divesting of assets. They are wiping the slate clean on this thing. If there's anything left that's actually profitable when they're done, it's not going to be for you, it's going to be for them. I'm telling you, weed buyers, don't be weed losers. And hey, you can think that I'm a basher and that I short and whatever else, because usually when I kill a company like this, people come around and say, well, why should I believe you? I'll tell you why you should believe me, because I have not been wrong. Because I've been calling this for years and I've been right for years. And because I've called the top of the weed market and I've been right for years. There's nothing wrong with cannabis. I do love to partake. I'm an edibles guy. I'm a beverage guy. I love it. It's great. Nice sound sleep and everything feels good the next day. Perfect. But I don't need to be invested in it. I need to be buying as a consumer and taking advantage of the fact that the price is compressing and taking advantage of the fact that there are 300 different dealers, legal dealers in the country that are all fighting each other for my attention, and that 260 of those dealers are going to go away within a year or two. That's great for me as a customer. As an investor, it is dog shit. Don't go near it. Even if you find something that you think is cheap enough, maybe it can turn things around. There are certainly some brands out there that have had the shit kicked out of them and maybe have enough runway to try and eke it out to a profitable enterprise. But there's better options that don't involve Canadian weed. If you want more of this stuff, hit subscribe, and the next time I've got a bee in my bonnet, you'll get a note.